publisher, and I'd just like to talk today about the Creator and religion, and just some of the questions that I've had in my life and things that I've been pondering on and thinking about for a lot of years now. And I'll just ask two questions, and then I'll just talk a little bit about some of my own experiences and things that I've discovered, and my feelings and beliefs a little bit about these issues. So question number one is, does the Creator have a religion? There's a lot of religions in this world, and does the Creator have a religion? And if so, what is it? Or are all religions just leading to the same place, but just various, expressions of love and devotion to the same Creator? Number two, does the Creator have specific requirements for the created beings He made? So these are just two questions. I'll just share a little bit of my own spiritual experiences throughout my life. I researched and studied since I was very young, different religions, mostly Christianity, because that's how I grew up. And my mom had taken my brother and I to church in the Protestant faith since I was very little. And so that's how I was raised. And so Christianity is the main religion that I was a part of for many, many years. And after high school, I actually went to Bible school for 3 years because I wanted to be part of full-time ministry and be in Christian service in different capacities. So that was where I was at that time. And as I grew older, a lot of different circumstances that I went through, and been through a lot of things in my life. I'm not going to tell you my age, but I'm over 45, so I've experienced different things that brought me to different beliefs. I did a lot of investigation and reading. I've talked to a lot of people, various religions such as Roman Catholic, Islam, Sikh, New Age, just to name a few. I came to the conclusion after, I was past my 30s, that religion was not something that I wanted to be a part of. And I felt like that what man has his fingers on, so to speak, there's always error. The teachings of man and traditions, rituals, even the texts of the Bible that we have now, the different versions, there seems to be dozens and dozens. And even before Jeremiah, the prophet Jeremiah's time, the false pen of the scribes was at work, changing, adding, deleting. And I'm not saying I don't read the Bible, but I feel like a lot of the things in it have been changed from the original text, which I don't believe we even have the original here in 2018. But I did possess a great hunger within me since I was a very young woman in my teenage years, for my purpose. What was I here for? What reason did I have in my life? And everything that I experienced around me, and as well as everything that I saw others experience, and just like, for an example, my dad, he went through World War II. He saw death, he saw destruction, he saw a lot of his family die, and he had a lot of questions for his life, and he often questioned, why did, what he said, God allow this all? Why did he let all my brothers die? Why did he let his sister die? Why did he let his own son die? Which is another story. But, you know, you find that with pretty well, you know, everybody has a story and they have experiences. And so this is how, you know, I reasoned it all out, and I desperately yearned to know what the meaning of it all was. And I knew deep within my core of my being that there was a creator. Just looking at the earth, the heavens, the very structure of the beings that are created, it just didn't all come into existence by some accident. So I knew that, and yeah, just looking at the intricacy of creation and all the living things, you know, I know there is a creator. No, most likely he was not as presented to me within the religions that I grew up, which was Christianity. But by the way, I'm not trying to pick on Christianity. It's where I grew up, and I have family that are Christians, and I love them dearly. And it's not the people, it's the things that I found within that particular belief structure. Anyway, I'll touch on that a little later. So in 2004, my mom, she tragically passed away. She was also my best friend as well as my mom. We always were really close. And after that, I really started searching, like heavy duty, digging into so many things. I wanted to find truth. I wanted to know what the reason for everything was. A lot of stuff was going on at that particular time in my family, besides my mom passing. So I wanted to seek the Creator himself. Aside from all man-made traditions and teachings, I wanted to know him. I wanted to know the Creator, and what did he say I had to do? What was my duty for him, you know, towards him? This search led me through many difficult paths, things I will not get into a lot of detail, you know, at this point. But back to my point, I felt like some portions of religion, you know, such as Christianity, can be very beneficial in shaping good morals and developing healthy disciplines for the body and mind. The churches that I was in, you know, throughout my teenage years did keep me from a lot of things. You know, I never got into drugs, into, you know, drinking, partying, the whole scene. Then I did go to a public school, and I saw all of that. And I had a good church to go to at that point. A lot of young people, a lot of stuff going on that, you know, I got some really good friends. So so it did keep me, as far as, you know, morality went through those years. And however, a lot of what I found religion to be about is creating their own dictionaries, so to speak, redefining within their own terms and change what the Creator had originally set in order. What do I mean by that? Well, for an example, the definition of right and wrong. According to the Creator's dictionary, is very different in the dictionary of any given religion. You know, you find the religions out there have their own estimation of what is right and what is wrong, what is clean, what is unclean. And what's right in one religious individual's eyes might be very wrong in another's estimation. There's no sure measuring stick for what is truth and what is error. Even aside from religion, you find that very prevalent throughout North America. Everybody is doing what they feel is right in their own eyes, and what's wrong for you might not be wrong for me, kind of an attitude. And everyone's offended, perhaps, if you use the wrong terms, or if you speak against a concept, you're attacking them. And I'm not trying to attack anybody here, but I am speaking, I guess, what I feel is, the experiences that I've been through. And I feel like there is a measuring stick of what is truth and error. And it's not in religion. It's not found in religion. One of the foulest things I found in this entire calamity is that many teachings within religion claim that it's God's word. Personally, I don't use the word God. I don't feel like that is the Creator's name. God is a title, same with Lord. So I use Yahuwah. I feel like that is his name. That's what I feel at this point in my life. I used to call him Yahweh. I did some research on that, and right now I feel like Yahuwah is what I feel led towards. So anyway, so back to what I was just saying here about they proclaiming that it is God's word that they are teaching instead of their own ignorance and lies. Just as one small example of this is things that I've experienced in the Protestant religion is their practice of holidays such as Easter and Christmas. Now, this was way back in 2006 when I started researching this, and they claim that it's based on the birth of their Messiah, who they call Jesus, which is another really big error because his name wasn't Jesus. But just a little research on these holidays will reveal that they're nothing to do with the true Messiah. And this is not just my opinion. It's something you can research at any public library. You can research it online. And yet, we find Christian churches doing Easter and Christmas, and they're saying that it's when, Jesus was born and when he rose again, and that's not true. So why are they celebrating it? So the question begs to be asked, is Christianity the true religion that the Creator has set up for his people to follow? I used to believe, yes, that was the truth. But when I started really researching in my own personal life, in my spiritual journey, I do not believe it is. Again, not speaking against Christian people. It's the teachings that are in error. And many people, such as my own family, are following the Christian teachings because that's where they've been all their life, that's what they're comfortable with, and it's just something that they feel secure in. Just because Christianity, and this is with both the Roman Catholic and Protestant, just because they have tens of millions of followers over the centuries, does that make what they teach to be true? What is the final authority for what you call truth? Is it because there's tens of millions of followers? It's because your family goes there? It's because your friends? It's because, you feel secure? Just because an organization is well respected and has power, wealth, and control, does that mean that their doctrines are approved by the Almighty One? Just because a man has the title of doctor or scholar or has a degree in a prestigious university, does that mean the things he teaches are stamped accepted by the Master of the heavens and the earth? See, these are just some of the questions that I've had. I'm not trying to tell anybody how to live or be hateful or mean, but these are some really hardcore questions I've had in my own personal life. So there's a lot of very intelligent people out there, very intellectual and very respectable. But just because they are very intellectual and very respectable and they have, millions of people respecting them and following them, does that mean that the fruit that they have are approved in the eyes of the Creator? See, I went to many churches, and many of the churches I went to, they esteemed the pastors and the teachers and the priests of these churches as God's Word. So if anything was questioned, well then someone such as myself was looked at as I'm out of line and I'm backsliding or I'm in rebellion. And when I first came out of the church system back in 2006, there was a good ladies group I was a part of, and I went and I started to talk to the ladies and say, hey, and a lot of it was what I had researched on what I had just mentioned previously about the Easter and the Christmas. And I said to them, if you could prove to me that, what I'm looking into here is wrong according to the scriptures, let's talk about it. But if you're just going to say, well, it's because of my church doctrine, that doesn't agree with that, then there's a problem. There's a problem, because then your final authority for what you call truth is not founded upon the scriptures. It's not founded upon the leading of the Creator's Spirit. He said he would lead and guide us into all truth, not partial truth. So I didn't get a reply, needless to say. I kind of found myself at that point on my own, and it was scary, very, very scary at that time. I was by myself there in a huge city, and it was a lot of challenges at the time. But it's not just with Christianity. I firmly believe that it's the same or similar stories with a lot of the other religions out there. There's hundreds of millions of adherents to belief structures, such as Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism, all claiming to have, the truth. With the rabbis, the gurus, the sages standing before them all and assuring their faithful followers that they are spiritually secure, safe and ready to meet the Creator. They're promised an eternity in heaven or paradise or whatever other form of afterlife that's taught in that particular religion. Some form of ascension and bliss when they leave this mortal body, if they adhere to the teachings of their superiors, the pastors, priests, rabbis that run the particular religious structure that the adherents are in. Yes, they all claim to have truth, but all the religions have a little version, different version of this truth. So yes, even though there are a few teachings within each religious group that are beneficial, and that's what one of the points I did want to make. Within every religion, there are great things. There's benefits. There's things that are good, virtuous, noble, and useful on various levels. Taking care of your family, taking care of the homeless, the orphans, the widows, taking care of the earth, taking care of your body. All these things are honorable and good. However, this very thing is also what makes these religions so dangerous, is because that is, how they deceive. And because hidden with all the positive sounding and beneficial teachings are embedded erroneous philosophies and toxic teachings that are in blatant contradiction to the Creator himself and many of his laws and instructions, which will bring a man down the road to destruction. These are not founded upon the Creator's truth, but upon man-made teaching. Christianity, as well as Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, and the such like, are all like sand. Let's look at the definition of sand. According to Wikipedia, it said sand is naturally occurring, composed of finely divided rock and mineral particles. Sand is a mixture of broken rock. So are all these religions, a blended mixture of some truth and some error. So yes, that's why I left religion. I'm not saying I know it all, and like I said in my introduction, I'm not here to teach. I'm here to share the things that I've experienced and my own journey and things I've learned over the years. But I do not want to follow the teachings of men, because I know that is not going to lead me to life. Because sometimes it's the smallest thing, like a seed. And when you do a lot of reading into instructional books from men and women who call themselves scholars, and like I said, someone who's read and done years and years of research, and you put your trust in that, all it takes is one small little tiny seed of error to embed itself within your heart or your mind, and it can change your entire direction. And I don't believe the Creator has called his elect people to join man-made religion or to follow the teachings that came from the fallen ones of long ago. When you read in the book of Enoch and how the fallen angels began to instruct mankind and teach them many things, many practices. So the Creator is the master architect, and what he defines as truth, that's truth. I, as his little creation, like I said, I don't know very much at all. I'm just one small human woman, but I want to put my trust in something more sure than what a man or a woman can teach me. And that's where I feel safe. It's in the hands of my Creator. I don't feel safe trusting and believing and putting my whole eternity into somebody else's hands, really. So I know that Yahuwah alone holds the measuring stick to what is truth and what is a lie, what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. I must define clean and unclean according to his terms, not mine. Not what my intellect can, know, what my mind or my heart can understand. It's not. That's not where it lies. It's knowing him and having a relationship with him and being led truly of his Spirit. So in conclusion, I'll just say, back to the question, does the Creator of the heaven and the earth have a religion? No, I do not believe he does. I encourage you, the reader, just to post your own thoughts on what I've shared today. Like I said, I'm not here to teach or try to tell anybody how to live or what to believe. I have this path that I'm walking on, and I'm accountable before my Creator and for what I do and not do in the house that I'm living right now, which is my body. And so feel free to leave comments or questions, discussion. And does the Creator have expectations for the chosen ones he created? Which was the question number 2. Yes, I believe he does. He does have a people who he's called out to be separated onto himself. He has a people, he has a bride, and he expects his people to be separated from the things he defines as unclean and how he defines sin. And we are his bride, we are his elected, and we are to separate ourselves from all that he has called us to shun, and from the things he has defined to be wickedness. He does not call us to join a religion of man or even to learn the ways of the heathen around us. We are to forsake all to follow him, and all is going to be different for every person. For me, it meant a lot of things, and that was including losing things that I had never wanted to lose, but I lost because he was testing me to see if I really loved him and I wanted to follow him. And for him to be my teacher, my guide, my shepherd, and my king. And how do we follow him this way? That is what I will be discussing in upcoming posts, and my own journey of coming out of man-made religion and learning how to forsake all to follow my shepherd. I'm not there yet. I've got a lot to learn. But my prayer is, Father, help me to be obedient, help me to be faithful to you, help me to love you the way you want me to love you. And he said, if you love me, you will follow my commands, you will obey me. So I just pray that he gives me the strength and gives me ears to hear his voice and eyes to see his truths and a heart to know him and love him. And so thank you again for joining me, and I look forward to your comments. And if you have any things you want to discuss, just leave a message. Okay, I'm signing off for now. Thank you. Bye-bye.